Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been safe. Now, I always struggle to understand what would make somebody resort to harming or sometimes even murdering, as in this case, the same person they profess to loving so dearly, just at the moment something goes wrong. Today's true crime story looks at the death or the murder of Latrese Maurice Dorsey at the hands of her boyfriend of 4 years. Now, this mother of three was murdered via gunshots precisely 10 times. She was shot 10 times by this so-called boyfriend of hers. And in court, guess what his excuse was? You can't guess it, I know. He said that he shot her 10 times by mistake in front of her 4-year-old daughter, whom he even had the courtesy, in quotes, of greeting upon entering the house right before proceeding to shoot her mom 10 times, and as he would put it, by mistake. If you are ready for this ride, buckle up and let's go. So, this is how the story goes. Latrice actually had come out of an early relationship with 3 kids, and she has an estranged husband. That is actually natural in these times. Sometimes marriages and relationships don't work. But what do? Pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, get yourself together, and you move on with your life the best way you can. And try not to complicate things for the children that may be part of the relationship. And this is exactly what 42-year-old Latrice was trying to do. She had just moved to her new home in Detroit and she was trying to get herself together. She entered a relationship with another man, and this relationship, it had its good times, but we bet it had its lows as well. She was in this relationship with a man called L. Maxwell, and little did she know that this man, who at the time seemed like a knight in shining armor, was actually going to be the one who would end her life abruptly. Fast forward, it was reported that Latrice and L developed some bumps in their relationship such that things were not so rosy anymore. And at a point, Latrice felt the need to call the relationship quits and exit, which she did, or at least she tried doing. But unfortunately for her, Earl Maxwell was not ready to let her go. He did not agree to her leaving him and moving on, and this did not make him happy at all. It escalated further to the point where Earl kept calling her severally, but Latrice, determined to cut him off her life, decided not to pick the call and just ignored his calls. And this drove him crazy. So guess what Earl did? He actually called Latrice's estranged husband. I don't know the relationship that exists between Earl and Latrice's estranged husband, but I'm struggling to understand why you are dating a single mother, and if you're having a problem with her, the next best person you think to call is her estranged husband. I don't get it. Somebody can explain to me why he took that move in the comment section if you understand why he would do it, because I don't. Anyways, that was his first line of action. He called him and he told her that he had been trying to reach Latrice. He's been calling her over 20 times and that she cut her phone off. See, and he was really agitated and irritated. And according to Latrice's estranged husband, called Paul Dorsey, at a point, this is what Elle said, I quote, "When I see your wife, I'm going to kill her." And I don't know, imagine, first of all, calling the woman you are dating's estranged husband to complain that you are calling her and she's not picking? What should he do? And then you go on to issue a threat about her to her estranged husband. It looks like this guy had already gone off the rails. He was on the edge. And he goes on to say, I quote, "When I see your wife, I'm going to kill her." I think that was the straight red flag that should have just brought in the police. But then, according to Paul Dorsey, the second time Elle called, he reiterated that he was going to hurt her again, and then he came back to recant that threat. I still don't get it, because he actually said it twice. It shows the level of intent that he's bent on doing this. And there are rumors that Latrese might have already started dating somebody. This is unconfirmed. But be that as it may, nothing warrants you deciding to take her life. For Christ's sake, they weren't even married. And even if they were, it still wouldn't be grounds to commit murder. Now, Paul said that the threat was made 2 weeks before Latrese's death. And according to Paul, he told Latrese everything from the beginning of the conversation with Elle straight down to when Elle actually cooled down. And Paul told Latrese, his ex-wife, that you have to get things together and protect yourself. But according to Paul, Elle would later come back to recant the threat. And for me, I don't think he meant to recant the threat. I think he came back to his senses and realized that he might have already exposed himself. But what he said, I think it was something deep inside him that was coming out. And they shouldn't have just taken his recanting of his threats lightly as, oh, then everything is okay. The moment somebody tells you, I'm gonna kill you, what other red flag do you need? This is a straightforward, unambiguous threat that you should straight away escalate to the police, because if the person has actually said it twice, then there's a higher probability that the person will see it through if triggered. And that was exactly what happened 2 weeks after that threat, where Elle walked to Latrese's new apartment, went in. Latrese's 2 kids were at home, her 14-year-old son and her 4-year-old daughter. Her son was in his room listening to music, but according to him, he heard some arguments and he heard some sounds, but he wasn't sure they were gunshots at the time. Now, this is where it gets so shocking and sad. It is reported that when Elle entered Latrese's home, he met her 4-year-old daughter, and he greeted her and asked her how she was doing, before proceeding to go to her mom, argue with her, pull a gun on her, and shoot her a total of 14 times. 14 times. Sorry, 10 times. Be that as it may, shot her 10 times. And in his defense in court, he indicated that he did that by accident. I just can't wrap my head around it. How do you go from first gunshot, second gunshot, third gunshot, through to 10 gunshots, only to now realize that you did all that by accident? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. He's just lying out of his teeth, and I'm happy the justice system didn't buy it, because he got 25 to 50 years in jail. But that is not even the end of it. The irony of the whole thing is just so sad, because it so happens that the day that Elle would murder Latrese with the 10 gunshots was actually Father's Day. And according to Latrese's father, with what Elle did, he might as well have shot him too, because It just pierced his heart, it pierced his soul. That is the one day in a year that he, as a father, gets to celebrate his life and life for that matter with his daughters, one of whom is Latrese. So to have somebody take her away from him on that particular day, it's a double jeopardy. Now, here are our thoughts on this. This channel does not condone violence in any form. This channel does not condone domestic violence. If you see the red flags, seek help. If you don't see any red flags yet, find amicable ways of going about problems that come out of your relationship. More and more, it's becoming the common trend that relationships start very nicely and then they end up sour, with some even escalating into death. This case happened in Detroit, in the USA, and as it stands now, although the culprit, El Maxwell, was jailed 25 years to 50 years, the damage for me had already been done, because that would not reverse time, that would not bring back the victim here, that's Latrese and her children, and forever the lives of Latrese's children have been altered forever. They have been scarred by this disdain of an act that this man has put on their mom, and the lives of the families of Latrese, her dad, her siblings. It's just so gruesome that this thing gets to happen, and no matter what the justice system tries to do to balance the scale, it can't restore a life that is lost. Let's keep an eye out there, even as we fall head over heels in love. Because sometimes some roses, indeed, all roses also have thorns. So be careful how you steer your love life and who you steer your love life with. Stay safe out there whilst you stay in love. Catch you next time. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, don't forget to do so. We thank you all, our returning subscribers, and we thank you for people who are watching this video or coming to this channel for the first time. But hey, if you are yet to subscribe, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications. We have a lot of works in the pipeline, and I'm sure you would want to be the first to get to know as soon as we put them out. Catch you next time.